How many do you think MacBooks are of higher performance than PCs? Okay. And how many do you think that PCs are of higher performance than MacBooks? Well, by the time I'm done here today, I'll prove to you that PCs are of higher performance than Macs. But before giving you reasons, let me give you a little background. 3 qualities of a laptop that determine how well it performs is 1, graphics, which determines what quality and how well a laptop processes video information. 2, CPU, which provides multitasking and determines processing power. And 3, which is extra features like screen size, battery life, and price. First off, for this example, I'll be using the Asus ZenBook, which is a PC. The Asus ZenBook has higher performance graphic cards. The MacBook Air has an HD 4000 graphics, which is an onboard graphics card for Intel, while the ZenBook has the same thing, but it also has NVIDIA 620, which makes it a dual graphics card, which makes it faster and more reliable, which also means less stress on the actual computer. And using information from the 3D Mark 11 website, I found out that the MacBook Air, on a scale of 0 to 2400, scored 640, while the ZenBook scored 1127. Almost double the speed and double the rendering specs as the MacBook Air. Second, the Asus ZenBook has a higher performance CPU than MacBook Air. ZenBook has a higher end Intel i7 CPU, while MacBook has an i5. The difference is the i7 is of a higher level. It costs $100 more, and it's a faster processing speed. Second, on the CPU mark test, of a score of 10,000 being the best and 0 being the worst, the MacBook Air i5 CPU scored 7,339, while the Asus ZenBook scored the i7 scored 9,070. That's almost 2,000 more. Thirdly, the i5 on the MacBook Air has 4 cores, 4 threads, while the Asus ZenBook has 4 cores, 8 threads. Basically what it means is that on the ZenBook, since it's an i7, you're able to do more multitasking. You could play several videos, you could render several videos, you could play several games, and on MacBook Air you couldn't do that. Thirdly, the Asus ZenBook has a higher end computer features than the MacBook Air. One feature is the lower price. Getting a ZenBook that's costing around a little under $1,000 has the same exact specs as the MacBook Air that has the same price. While getting Asus ZenBook that's about $200 less, you get higher features. Second, the annual power consumption of the Asus ZenBook is $2.63, while the MacBook Air is $2.93. So economically, you save 30 cents a year, which isn't very much, but if you count how long you keep the laptop, it does add up. Third is screen size. On the website of Apple, advertising MacBook Air, they state how MacBook Air can have a screen size that displays 1080p by 900, which isn't true. It can't display it because their screen size is only 1366, while the ZenBook is true HD, which is 1920 by 900. And lastly, with a basic knowledge of computers, it's easy to customize the Asus ZenBook than it is to customize the MacBook Air, which means it's future-proof. And based on these facts, PCs outperform Macs at the basis of performance, price, and efficiency.
All right, the proposition is labeled very clearly, and you put up a good statement of what the criteria are that you're going to use for the comparison. I think you need to label those points a little bit more clearly in the body of the speech, although if people are listening clearly, they'll be able to pick them up. But sometimes you're rushing, and with the number of numbers that you're presenting at times, it would be easy to get lost there. I think there's a dependence on factual data. At some points, it seems like we're just looking at the specifications of the computers and we're comparing those kinds of things. And I think that is, it's good basic data, but it doesn't always tell us what that means. At one point, you made a comment about being able to play multiple games or do rendering, and one wouldn't be able to do those kinds of things. And you say that, but I don't know how that translates. I don't know why the CPU size or some of the graphic cards that you're talking about matter. I assume that they probably do, but you know what? I'm easily upsold by people selling tech, so perhaps I should be a little bit more suspicious here. Somebody says, this will be so much better. I go, okay, well, let's have whatever's better, and I'm paying $200 for something that probably isn't worth anything. I don't know those kinds of things, and I think that you need to explain them a little bit more. We talked about this a little bit, I think, when you talked to me about this as a topic, and I think when you do those comparisons, you got those studies that give them scores, and you've got 2 or 3 of those studies that do some pretty impressive scoring for the book that you're talking about, or the Zen book, I guess, that you're talking about. It's not always clear what those scores represent. I know that they, higher is usually better, but does that mean, does it mean that those scores are they representative of some test that the computer systems went through? Are they public opinion surveys about how people felt about those books? Is there some mechanical or statistical criteria that is used to judge those sorts of things? I don't know. The savings on the electricity is just like, why are you bothering on that one? Over the number of years that you own it, it's going to add up. Yeah, so if I own it for 20 years, it'll be $6 worth of savings. And I'm not exactly sure that that's really going to be the key issue. I don't know anybody, well, I shouldn't say I don't know anybody. I'm sure there are people who have 20-year-old computers. Feels like I've got one on my desk right now, but I'm ready to throw it out the window. But it's just, I think that's a wasted piece of information when you could have spent the time explaining some of the other things in a little bit more detail. And you have a tendency to do the reading thing. You're looking down, you've got a lot of information and numbers, and you need to talk to us a little bit more while you're doing the presentation. All right, thank you.